let's talk about the most emotional issue maybe that's been before council in the last few months, and that's the Gold Butte National Conservation Area. You weren't at the council meeting. You were, I believe your son was being married that night.
That's correct, yes.
When you missed all the fun and excitement and fireworks.
Yeah, I could have been the tie-breaking vote.
How would you have voted on that issue?
Well, I've given it a lot of thought. From my perspective, I'm not sure that turning it over, Gold Butte, turning it over to the government is a good idea. Anytime the federal government gets in our pocket, they just get deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is my own personal opinion. It's
Okay.
and do we need any more direction from the federal government in our own backyard? I don't think so. I think we're more than capable on a local level to manage our own business. We've got some pretty strong people here that have been here a long time, going down into Overton and Logandale and into Lake Mead they've been pretty staunch stewards of the land, and they know it a lot more than the people in Washington D.C. or anybody from the BLM does it.
Mm-hmm.
And would I support any activity from the government as far as administering it? I don't think I would. I think I'd have gone the other way.
Okay.
And well, we had the pleasure of riding out there together for 7 or 8 hours and going.
We did.
over
We went on a field trip with
Yeah.
a whole group of people one day.
Yes, and you know, they talk about vandalism and all the things that I fail to see personally. Was there some trash? Was there some refuse? Yes. Was it unmanageable? No. I think for the most part people are pretty responsible. So that's where I stand.
Well, one of your business partners, Doug Reef, is an avid ATV enthusiast, and he has a whole idea for turning Mesquite into an ATV mecca.
Mm-hmm.
And having a lot of organized rides through the Gold Butte area, promoting the trails and roads that we already have as a way of economic development, economic activity, I should say, as opposed to closing it off to hikers, and having that as the primary economic activity. Give us your thoughts about that.
Well, I think with the natural resources we have, it's almost a given. I don't, you know, he and I have never really sat and talked about it or dissected the idea. I've been an ATVer in the past until I got too busy where I couldn't enjoy it any longer. I think it's a good idea. In fact, I've had a conversation with the mayor that we've got to make some of these streets a little more user-friendly for ATVs. They've got to be readily marked so that people can interpret what can be used and what can't be used. I mean, we've got to create some access to the hillsides and the mountains across the valley. Well, albeit within the parameters of safety, of course.
Right.
I think we have to utilize what we've got, and I don't think it's a bad idea whatsoever.
What about making the streets more friendly to golf carts along with ATVs? Because you kind of took away one of my questions, that, you know, Doug Reef does have this idea of an individual could get on his ATV in his garage, ride through certain streets, all the way through town, out into the desert, and then back home without having any problem. And you know, and I'm not saying that the police haven't been good about, you know, not being overly stringent and things like that. But you were on the council when they, in essence, shut down a lot of roads and streets and ATV access through the city.
Mm-hmm.
You were on the council when that happened. You know, so what's different now?
Well, I don't even remember how I voted on that, if I voted on that. I think anything that's going to be an economic stimulus is something that we have to consider. And if it's a matter of I mean, nothing is etched in concrete. It doesn't have to be forever, but let's make some of the streets a little user friendly, and let's, you know, obviously we can mark streets with paint or signs or whatever. We can identify what's safe and what isn't safe, and what's usable and what isn't usable. But I think we should absolutely strongly consider, you know, making it accessible.
Okay. What are some of your goals for the next year, as going into your, well, this will be the last year on your current term in office. Do you intend to run again for re-election?
At this point, I certainly do, yes.
Okay.
I've got 353 days left.
A lot can change in 353 days.
Well, you know, I'd like to think that when I ran for council, I ran for all the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've worked pretty diligently at it. And I don't get a lot of bad ink. I don't get a lot of good ink. In fact, I don't get a lot of ink, which is okay.
Well, you and Al are kind of the Al Littman. You're kind of on that end. Sometimes I think of it as a teeter-totter. You know, you got Councilman Hafen and Rapson on one end that are always talking, and you and Councilman Littman are on the other end, and you know.
Well, if I have something to say, I certainly say it. I'm more than likely going to run again, yes. And again, sometimes I question my sanity, but yeah, I'm going to do it. I've been encouraged by my wife to do it again. I think maybe to get me out of the house one night a week, but yes, I'm strongly considering it, yes.
Okay, then what goals do you want to accomplish in the next year? What would you most like to see done, or the one issue that you would most like to see tackled?
Well, obviously I would like to see us be economically successful, without a doubt, but I think if we get this tent issue or the sports complex issue resolved, and we can do it in a manner that is going to make economic sense, and all the pieces of the puzzle come together in a positive way, I would support that. And again, it can sound like a broken record, but if we don't do it for ourselves, nobody's going to do it for us. We've got to get off our dead lazy butts and get it done. You know, it's 2012. It's not 1985 anymore. People are not going to come in with pockets full of money and bail us out because they feel good. Everybody's got a mission, and you know, we just got to help ourselves. And
Well, and you've said that before. Is, you know, when the events complex was discussed. But one of the big issues that a lot of people are concerned about are the ongoing operating and maintenance cost of a complex of that size.
mm-hmm.
We already subsidize the recreation department to more than 50%.
Well, again, you know, this is part of the puzzle. Like I said, all the pieces have got to come together, and obviously there's going to be operating budgets, there's I mean, this is part of the whole ongoing process. It's not only building the thing, it's mapping out the future, it's staffing, it's utilities, I mean, from a business standpoint, I understand how all these things happen, and again, that's part of the process, and it's got to be digested. If it is economically unfeasible, then so be it. I will accept that. But if it has any glimmer of hope or any glimmer of being economically feasible, again, I'm behind it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Councilman. We appreciate your time today with the Mesquite Citizen Journal, and good luck in the next year.
Well, thank you. As always, it's been a pleasure, and anything I can do, let me know.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you.